Well, welcome to another week of Derek's Travel Chats, where we speak about the travel industry and speak with travel leaders about the future of travel and how we can make your travel dreams a reality moving forward. So this week, we're going to focus on a little different type of travel, and that being adventure travel. And my guest this week is Mr. Sean Russo. And Sean is the National Sales Manager of G Adventures Canada. He's been a lifelong traveler himself. Reading his bio is attached to our program here. But you'll see that he's been in over 70 countries. So he's very well traveled and has lots of amazing experience to talk to us about from his level, plus from what G Adventures has to offer. So welcome, Sean, to Derek's Travel Chats.
Thank you very much, Derek. It's my pleasure to join you and your audience today.
It's great having you here. So Sean, just before we get into what G Adventures offers and the style of travel about G Adventures, how has G Adventures been weathering the storm of a virus and being able to now plan to move forward for the future?
That's a great question. We've been doing pretty good, to be completely honest. What we first have to realize is the virus is no one's direct fault, but it affects everyone a little bit differently. So at G Adventures, what we've done is we've taken this opportunity to almost go back to our roots. So we truly believe we're like a 30-year-old startup. So what we've been able to do is been able to create some really new, exciting programs to offer our travelers out there. And the way we kind of analogize it is we're almost building the plane as it's taking off already. So we're always thinking of really new and exciting opportunities, whether it's our book and travel with confidence and messaging, and really gearing up for some really exciting new promotions in the marketplace, specifically around our cyber sale coming up very shortly. So some really great things that you can offer to your valued travelers, whether it be right now or in weeks to come.
Excellent, excellent. I was going to say, just mention, I love your pets in your background.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, just a fun story is so these are my friends from Peru. Peru is you mentioned that I'd been to over 70 countries. Peru is my #1 traveled country. I've had the privilege of going there right now. I think it's at 13 or 14 times. Just an absolutely beautiful place to go.
Well, I think I first learned about Peru in grade 5 or 6. And it's been my dream to go there. I was supposed to go there a couple of years ago, and it got postponed. But it's still on my bucket list. I want to be able to climb up to the hills in Peru and see all the historic sites there.
Oh, absolutely. It's an amazing place. I mean, Machu Picchu is definitely one of those places that people, they traditionally, well, I want to go to Peru because of that. But, there's so much more beautiful things besides that. And you know what? There's a trip out there for everyone. And that's what's really great about G Adventures. Sometimes, that the word adventure scares people. They think adventure is just about that hiking or the, I don't know, jumping out of a plane or being just super quote unquote adventurous, but adventure really is just what you want to make it. When we really believe that everyone is adventurous in a certain way, the way I tend to describe it is adventure for someone could be getting on a plane that's more than like 3 hours, and that's their adventure. It could be going to a country where they don't speak the native tongue. That's an adventure. It's sometimes just going and enjoying a meal at a restaurant that you can't get back in Canada, and that could be an adventure. So it's a very open-ended type of experiences for people.
I want to jump out of the plane too, but
well, hey, see, that's not my thing. I'm more of a creature comforts type of person. I gravitate more towards our National Geographic style trips than anything what most people would think of as adventurous.
I was in South Africa last August, and we went to the biggest bungee jumping.
Oh yeah,
because I was in a group and whatever, and the time was very tight. They wouldn't let me do that either.
Oh, I remember a few years back, I was in Johannesburg, and I was actually a really weird side story. It was actually unfortunately the day of Winnie's funeral, and we were going into Johannesburg, and we saw the towers where you can jump off, and they're like, "Does anyone want to do it?" I'm like, "I will pay someone to go do it and take a video and say I did it, but there's no way that you can get me up that high. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat that way."
All right, very good. Um, Sean, I mean, your itineraries are unique compared to other types of travel, and where you go and how you actually do your itineraries and size your groups and so on. So, would you like to give our viewers just a little overview about G Adventures and this, kind of special work that you do?
Sure. In a nutshell, we're a 30-year-old travel company based out of Toronto, so we're 100% Canadian owned operation. And really, what our main focus is to bridge what we refer to as the gap between backpackers. And when I say backpackers, meaning someone that just builds their own experience, they just fly somewhere and they take care of everything themselves, and the traditional organized tour. Fact is, our original company name was Gap Adventures, and that's the reason why was to bridge that gap. Basically, what we do is we do small group experiences. We truly want to immerse our travelers in the real world of wherever they are. We don't. We have various different what we refer to as travel styles. So these travel styles are things that help the traveler decide what type of activity or experience they'll have in whatever destination they are. And each destination has a magnitude of different travel styles associated with it. But what we want to ensure is that there is an equal give and take to the travel experience. So we have this idea of the world deserves more you. And when I say you, it's the traveler. So
Sure.
traditionally, when you go somewhere, it's all about, it's taking. It's like taking the experiences that you had. If you're in the Caribbean or whatever, taking the warm weather in or whatever the case may be. And we're not saying you shouldn't do that. What we're saying is there needs to be an exchange around your travel. And the way I always pinpoint it to is, imagine you going to, let's say, because my background is Peru here. If you go to Peru, be the best advocate for a Canadian going to Peru, because someone you meet you might be the first person they've met from Canada. So you represent all of us across this country. So be the best version of yourself. And when you do that, people traditionally welcome you, right? We want people to see tourism as a force for good. And we dwindle that all down through our itineraries and how much money stays within that host country, because we want to show them, when you go to a place, you get a really great experience, but the locals benefit from it, and they don't need to move somewhere else to benefit from that kind
Sure.
of experience.
Excellent. And I know you work with some celebrities.
Yeah, there's been quite a few different celebrities across our 30 years, but the biggest one, I think, and the most prevalent, especially as of late, is our partnership with Jane Goodall. So Jane obviously is an extraordinary lady, very graceful, and just really has a huge connection, obviously, with the animals of our planet. So what we've done in partnership with the Jane Goodall Institution is we've actually created 20 unique, pretty incredible wildlife-focused itineraries, and it's the basic premise of it is to understand and appreciate animals in their natural habitat. And the way we say it is, let wildlife have a wildlife. So just respect them, keep a distance, and they'll be there for us to experience for years to come. So it's a really great partnership. I've had the privilege of meeting her once when she was in Toronto. She's just absolutely a lovely lady.
Excellent. I had my first safari experience last year in South Africa as well, in Kruger Park, and it was just unbelievable to see the big five and plus all of the other animals in their own natural habitat, and realize that if I stepped outside of that truck, I was their dinner for the most part.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you've definitely have to know what environment you're in. And I think that's part of the experience as well, right? Traditional zoo experience where stuff have a different connotation with it. When you see them in their natural habitat, it's absolutely amazing. I remember once I was in South Africa as well, and I was in a private game reserve, and I was with our National Geographic experience, and we had one of the gentlemen from the Big Cats Initiative from National Geographic out with us, and a cheetah had just done a kill, and so we're in our safari vehicles, and he's like, "Okay, well, the cheetah's occupied, so we can get out." And I'm looking at him, going, "Are you crazy?" He's like, "No, trust me, it's okay." So the group of us, and there was only 6 of us on this trip. We were literally 5-6 feet away from a cheetah just literally going to town on their dinner, and it was just one of those experiences. And it's you're in awe that you're that close, but it's also so magical that you're able to experience that. And I literally, through my head, I was thinking I was watching a National Geographic documentary, but instead of sitting on my couch under a blanket, I was in the hot African sun. It was pretty cool.
Cool. I know you have a presentation there to share with us, so I'll let you move into that and talk about the unique itineraries that G Adventures are involved with. And so the floor is yours. The screen is yours.
The screen, yes, yeah. We were chatting before coming online how blessed we are to have such great technology these days. So yes, I'm super excited to share some of our unique itineraries we have. But more importantly, these are some itineraries that are tried and true for our Canadian market, that Canadians like yourselves just love to go experience with us. So first off, again, hello. So first thing I wanted to do is kind of talk a little about just rattle off some really unique and different experiences that we offer. So Greece for us is one of those amazing destinations, and the best way to see Greece, in my opinion, is through our sailing experience. So these are 8-person sailboats where if you want to learn about sailing and you want to take the wheel, work with your skipper to bring up the masks, you can do that. It's a really amazing experience and very loose. And when I say loose is we know that we're going from this island to this island, but the way we get there and the time it takes to get there is really up to us. Okay. It's a lot of fun. We tend to have our lunches and our dinners on islands, exploring. Sometimes we'll go have a beautiful, campfire experience on one of the islands. There's this really neat experience where we actually go to this church on this island, and the only thing that's on this island is this church. But if you go through the back, there's like a barbecue and some tables and chairs that are set up there, and we set it up on like what we refer to as the holy patio, and it's just this really neat experience. And you step outside of the traditional tourism realm on this type of experience.
Excellent.
There's also really great places like Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is a fairly easy place for us to get to in terms of like flights and time frame. And we believe Costa Rica is a really great opportunity for people that have multi-generational families. So whether it's you and your children, whether it's you and your children and your grandchildren, it's a great place to introduce people to adventure travel, because Costa Rica really has everything. It's got beautiful beaches, it's got the rainforest and the cloud forest, it's got activities from ATVing to horseback riding to paddleboarding to surfing to swimming, or like this picture is the beautiful suspension bridges where you can go out and really be part of nature. It's just a really, really great place. And as travel is very slowly starting to reemerge, Costa Rica is one of those countries that has opened the door to the world, and we're very happy for that. Jordan, another great combination. This one, a lot of people will do Jordan on its own, Jordan in Israel, or I'd say a Jordan in Egypt kind of experience. But this really is a neat chance for people to go out there and see a lot of the beautiful history, like Petra and such. And it's not just the natural beauty and these beautiful architectural sites, but it's the food. A lot of people, when they go to the Middle East, they're amazed. They come back and say, Sean, like all these places were great, but the food experience, that's something that that just really resonated with me. And I believe that's a pretty prevalent thing because you got to eat when you're traveling. Another really great place is Patagonia. So Patagonia is in the southern cone area of South America. And what I like about Patagonia is, and what Canadians do, is it's got some really great hiking opportunities. And what's prevalent about hiking in Patagonia is you don't have to deal with altitude. So if you've ever thought of like doing like a Machu Picchu or a Mount Blanc or a Kilimanjaro, and you're a little scared about how your body's going to react to altitude, you don't have to worry about that in the Patagonia region. Plus, there's some really great like dead forests that you get to trek through, see some glaciers and such. It's just a really neat place. And another one in the Middle East is Morocco. Morocco is probably our third or fourth most popular trip for Canadians. Fairly easy to connect through, so you can get through Montreal or through Toronto into Morocco. But this kind of angle we're taking it is with children. We really love our family programs, whether it's our traditional family trips or our partnership with National Geographic to have family experiences. And this is a great way for children from 7 and up to go experience the world and become more travelers of the world. So we always say we're going to raise travelers instead of raising tourists. And my favorite experience is when you get out into the Sahara and you're with a nomadic family, a Berber family, and the children are just interacting and having fun with the other local children. I think that's just a beautiful experience.
Excellent.
But when we look at some of like specific itineraries, I wanted to highlight a couple different ones just to like wet the whistle really when travel does come back. And the first one is our collaboration with our friends at National Geographic. And this is one of many different experiences we have going into Peru. What I love about this trip is it really gives you, the traveler, the chance to see the main highlights in a respective 2-week period. I find with any country, Peru specifically, that you could spend weeks just to see everything. And not all of us have that luxury of time. So 2 weeks is a really great one. We begin and end in Lima, so it's a fairly easy flight to get into. We spend a few days in our eco lodge in the heart of the Amazon. We take a motorized dugout canoe into the Amazon jungle. We do night walks. It's a really peaceful and tranquil experience. We then go into Cusco, which is just an amazing city. The heart of the Incan Empire, the cobblestone streets, just the architecture is absolutely gorgeous. And then we go through the Sacred Valley, and we have a chance to do, I guess, 2 different ways of experiencing Machu Picchu. In this image, it's got the icon, so we can do the iconic 4-day, 3-night hike if you want towards Machu Picchu, or you could take the train. And I always say there's no shame in the train. It's a beautiful dome train experience, and you get to walk around and explore Machu Picchu for a few hours with our UNESCO Heritage Guide before taking that train back.
Can you take the can you climb up and take the train back, or take the train up and walk back?
Yeah, so basically there's the way to Machu Picchu, or more specifically Aguas Calientes, which is the base town. You can either hike or you can take the train. No matter what, we always take the train back.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get both experiences, and it really depends on what kind of mood you're in, really, and how you feel you might deal with the hike. Honestly, it's a slow and steady kind of pace. It's not a race. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I think it was, I kind of not ran it, but I just kind of motored my way through, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I did in my later years, and experienced it, at a slower pace. But either way you go see it, it's a beautiful place, obviously pictured on the left there. And then after we actually go down south to Puno and Lake Titicaca, where you're spending some time in the floating reed villages, just an amazing experience before returning back to Lima.
So on your itinerary on your map there, it shows flights to and from. What size aircraft? Is it a smaller aircraft, or is it just like a commuter type aircraft?
Oh, great question. These are commercial flights, so they're usually Airbuses, and whenever you see a flight icon on any of our maps, that means that flight is included. So
Okay.
it's included in the sale price for it. But yeah, these flights are always commercial flights on these ones. Another one that a lot of Canadians do, and they combine this with Machu Picchu. Maybe not the 14-day one. Maybe they're doing an 8-day one, and then they're moving down, or moving, I guess, technically up into Ecuador. But a lot of Canadians are combining the two to experience Galapagos. Now, the Galapagos Islands are just, I think I use the word amazing a little too much, but they're just such a tranquil, peaceful place. And every island has something different to offer us as travelers. Now, this specific itinerary is on our brand new ship that was a purpose-built ship for us, the Reina Silvia. And this is a 16-passenger vessel. It's got all sorts of bells and whistles that people might like sun decks, a hot tub, an outdoor bar, just a really, really modern vessel. We also have 4 other vessels, all at 16 passengers that are available as well. And our itineraries as a whole start from 7, 8, 10, and up to 17 days. Obviously, when you get to the 17-day one, you see the whole archipel. Traditionally at the 7 and 8, you'll see 2 to 3 of the island groups. When you hit the 10-day, you'll see 3 out of the 4 island groups, and such. What this one does is it includes your flights in and out of Quito. So we spend 1 night in Quito before flying over to Santa Cruz, and then we jump on the ship to experience this. Some highlights on this particular itinerary is Floriana, where Post Office Bay is. Fun thing to do while you're there is you basically write a postcard to yourself and you stick it in the box. And what people are supposed to do is when you visit Floriana is you're supposed to go to the mailbox, go through them, and if you find a postcard from someone local to you, you're supposed to take it with you and hand deliver it. It does work. I went probably 4 years ago, I think now, and someone came by my house like 2 years later and said, "Here's the postcard from it." It's just a magical and very odd experience. As long as you don't move, I think it's a pretty good experience. And my other highlight on this one is probably Isabel Island. And Isabel Island is the largest one. It's got the volcano that you can do. It's got some beautiful beaches, some great hiking, some tortoise sanctuaries. Just a very, very peaceful experience, but definitely one I recommend. My other piece of advice, general, with the Galapagos as a whole is I try to sway people away from the 7-day ones. I think the 8-day is a really good starting point. The 7-day one, when you factor in you're coming in from Quito and then you have to fly back out, you're only spending 3.5 to 4 days within the islands. So I think the 8-day one is a really great benchmark for it. And all the different vessels are offering different price points and different amenities for you.
Speaking of the vessels, so you say it's about 16 people. Is there any reduction in that now, looking at the new normal and the bubble situation?
That's a great question. In terms of our vessels, no. Our vessels are set up to be 16, and there is ample space, like specifically on the Galapagos. There's ample space and an ample private space, and the cabins are particularly, especially on this new one, are pretty roomy. So these ones don't have a reduced. On our other itineraries as a whole, the average was 16, and we're bringing those down to like 12 and 14 respectively, depending on where the experience is.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's a great question. Speaking of water, I don't know about you, but when I drink a nice glass of red wine, I want a glass of water with me as well. And the Burgundy Experience is just, I don't know, just the tannins, I guess. I need some water while I'm drinking that. But the Burgundy Experience is one of those really neat ones. And when people look at this, it's not a river cruise. It's a barge, and it's a very well appointed barge, to be completely honest, and a different experience than some other great companies will offer within this region. The first thing is it's a maximum of 22 people. And what we see is actually a lot of groups of friends or families. They actually will work with travel professionals like yourself and actually just charter the whole thing out and have this really neat experience. There's a beautiful sun deck at the top for people to catch rays in the summers. There's a hot tub, which is quite popular, and also it's the bar is open, so all your wine, your beer, and your soft drinks are included. Liquor is not, but it's at a very reasonable price point. And all your meals while you're on the vessel are included. And some of the really fun things, you get to go cycling. There's bikes on board, but you go cycling through the vineyards. You do vertical wine tasting. You get to go with a chef and go, shopping in local markets and create a meal together. It's just a neat little way of experiencing it with a very tight small group experience, and something that's amazing. It runs from April till October traditionally, and we're seeing some very high, traditionally towards the end of the summer, some more influence for 2021, which is good to see.
Great.
With Africa again, and we touched on Africa a little bit together at the beginning, is when I think of Africa, I think of National Geographic, whether it's, from growing up with the magazines in my household, or, now looking at it on the television. These are those really great experiences. And our number one trip for Canadians is our Explore Southern Africa, which is a 12-day journey from Cape Town up to Victoria Falls. So we spent a night in Cape Town before flying up to Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, we're staying at this really, really cute guest house. It's got animals aplenty around it. The family is just very quirky. They introduce us to traditional braais. So we have a little barbecue together. And then we move up to Kruger National Park, where we include a half-day game safari, or safari drive on there. There's the option to do an afternoon one if the group or individuals like, and then if it is, then we just include a lunch in there. But the highlight of this, to be completely honest, is the private game reserve. So after Kruger, we go over to Karangwe, and we spend a few nights in these private game reserves. And there's a morning and an evening safari drive. And it's always the mornings is accompanied with sweets and baked goods and coffee and tea, and the evening is sweets, baked goods, beer, and wine. And this is where we bring in individuals from the National Geographic partnership, and we talk about, we have the Big Cats initiative on this particular one that goes out and talks about cats in general within Africa and evolution and such like that. And then we move up into Victoria Falls, and if those people that are super adventurous want to go, great. You can do the Devil's Whirlpool there. There's the bungee jumping there if you want to go that route. But the highlights of Victoria Falls outside of the falls is the home cooked family meal. And we connect with a wonderful local woman who takes us into her home, teaches us a little bit about local life. We have a walk through the town, and she puts out this absolutely amazing spread for us, and it's just a nice way of capping off the trip.
Good.
Another option, a little bit more expensive. Traditionally, when you're looking at African safaris, your Southern Africa or your South Africa itineraries are going to be traditionally more economical than you're looking at Kenya or Tanzania. But this is a great 14-day trip. It's actually 2 trips in one. I'm just displaying the two in one because if you're flying all that way for 7 days, you might want to experience a little bit more while you're there. But you've got the African Lodge safaris, and so these are the ones that you would see in National Geographic, that style of accommodations. This is not pitching a tent and camping outside experience, and neither was the other one. This one, you have the chance to go learn from individuals from the Kenya Wildlife Service. You get to go spot cheetahs and wildebeest in the Masai Mara. You visit this really neat social enterprise, and that's one of the key things with us at G Adventures is that social enterprise. And this is through Planetara, our non-for-profit organization, where we work to create clean cook stoves for the families in the Masai Mara, which is neat. We also work with local mothers who create handicrafts for their markets, and you have the opportunity, if you wish, to learn a little bit more about the importance of these handicrafts. And if you want to purchase one for a souvenir, you're purchasing it directly from the person that created it, and that money stays there, which is quite nice. And then obviously, like things like the Serengeti, going into having game drives in the Serengeti is quite nice. And then Ngorongoro Crater, and just that natural, beautiful, rich landscapes that are attributed to that area. It's quite nice.
Yeah, sounds like pretty.
You know, and it just got a couple more to rhyme off. I mean, Australia, New Zealand, beautiful places. Hopefully they open up the world to us, and they can come out and explore the world as well. But this is the biggest trip we have there. It can definitely be scaled back. But if you've got, you know, a month and you want to go, you're retired and you want to go explore Australia and New Zealand, this is a great thing. Seeing apps, I won't even go through them, but all the highlights of both of those countries respectively. But by far, my favorite part is the sailing in the Whitsundays and just going, you know, from island to island, pristine white sands, beautiful beaches. It's just a really neat and different type of experience. And last but not least, probably the most epic of our experiences out there. And this is traditionally as people graduate through the G Adventures experience, they're looking for more and more places to go, or wanting to, you know, contribute to their bucket list. The seventh continent, absolutely a really great experience. And this is the entry level or the shortest version of our experiences down to Antarctic, the classic. Honestly, I think this is the perfect trip. There's longer ones. This is honestly, I think, the greatest one. In and out of Ushuaia, passing through the Drake Passage, going through the peninsula and the South Shetland Islands. The ship pictured there is our baby, the G Expedition, 133 passengers. Traditionally, I believe it's going to be running at 110, you know, as the rebound efforts to lower capacity. There are 60 crew members on this, but it's just such a really neat experience. And you go to the quirkiest little places. You got day or morning and afternoon landings where you can do zodiacs, explore wherever you are by foot or a hybrid model. But some of the interesting things when you go to these research centers, and some of these research centers have these crazy pubs, and you walk into the pub and, you know, there's pool tables and there's a band of scientists playing for you. And it's just this thing where, you know, you're like in the middle of nowhere, but you still feel at home. And for someone that wants to disconnect and really appreciate the awe and beauty of our planet, this is the place where you hike up a hill, you sit your butt down in the fresh snow, and penguins are zooming by you. It's just a really surreal place. And that's just a selection of the literally 700 different opportunities we have out there.
Sounds wonderful, Sean. Greatly appreciate you going through that.
No worries.
And I know we're just about up on our time. I think a lot of people, when they, as you said in the beginning, talk about adventure or hear the word adventure, that it's climbing mountains or rock climbing all over the world type of thing, which is, you know, it's a different experience all in itself. But it's great to be able to understand what G Adventures is all about, and the different type of itineraries, and the education. The biggest thing is the educational component of what you do is, I think, is a big draw for people who want to have that kind of adventure and learning experience. So thank you for.
You know what? No problem. You summed that up perfectly. I mean, travel is a privilege, not a right, and an opportunity to go like what we should do is travel. We should go out. We need some R&R. We need to relax. We need to decompress from our normal lives. But we also need to travel affords us that opportunity to understand and appreciate the different cultures. And the biggest thing I always say is, you know, go out, explore the world with an open heart and an open mind, and understand that, you know, you're going somewhere that could be very far or very close to home, but it's different than home. And let's find the comfort and beauty in that, and appreciate how other people roll and run their lives. And as our founder always said, he believes that travel could be the greatest force of wealth distribution, but most importantly, peace. When we understand how people live their lives, we're more conditioned to understand and appreciate. And a lot of the things we see in the media about whatever country or whatever religion or whatever the case may be in the world, once you experience it yourself, you just realize they're just like you and me.
Sure.
They have the exact same needs, wants, and desires as us. and travel just affords us that. And even if you can't speak the language, the universal smile is key, right?
Sure.
Smiling at someone is just there's that peace in there. And I welcome anyone to come take a look at some of our itineraries through you, and just to your audience, you're in amazing hands with Derek. Very well traveled, very smart individual, and he'll do anything possible to ensure that you not only have the right itinerary, regardless of who you're going with, but you'll be set up for success and have all the protocols and knowledge, especially as we emerge from the COVID pandemic into the new reality.
You have a slogan on your shirt.
Oh, yes. Sorry, let me see if I can stand up a bit. There we are. It says love, lead, embrace, create, do. And those are our core values. So we love changing people's lives. We love to create, we lead with service. We try to be as flexible as possible with things. Embracing the bizarre is just really part of the life, going out there and experiencing the world, and things are going to be a little bit different. We want to create happiness and community wherever we go. And doing the right thing is just what we believe in as humans. We want to have that equal balance in things. And, we started off the conversation with our partnership with Jane, going out there and experiencing animals in their natural habitat. That's doing the right thing, and if we can put our small stamp on the world, we hope that we will make an impact. And when we do that with travelers like yourselves. So we thank you.
And just before we finish, I know it's all a small group, but so are you promoting like a family bubble type of activity in any way?
Yeah, so we do have this really great program called Book Your Bubble. We're trying our best to use vernacular that's already in the global sphere, and bubble is one of those. So it's a very simple premise. Is you can work with Derek, find an itinerary that suits you. See if you have a group of friends, family members, whatever the case, that want to go traveling with you. So you keep that bubble tight. And then we have like a 3-tiered promotion with it. If you get a group of 7, the 8th person is 50% off, or you can spread that savings across the whole bubble. After 11, the 12th person goes free, or again, you can spread that cost or that savings around the bubble. And every one of those, the Book Your Bubble trips are also inclusive of anything that's in market, any promotion in market. And coming up very shortly will be our cyber sale. And if there's something that sparked your interest here, definitely shoot a quick email over to Derek, pick up the phone, and I'm sure he can definitely help you not only find a really great experience, but save a couple dollars as well throughout the process.
Well, Sean, this has been just a wonderful information session. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day I know you've got a lot of, you're dealing with a lot of other agents, and we're trying to also reignite our businesses and plan for the future. And I really do appreciate you coming on and talking about G Adventures and providing my clients and hopefully future clients with some possibilities of what they can do given our new normal in this world we are today. So
no problem. I really appreciate the opportunity. Always happy to come and talk to you and your travelers. I will just leave with one last thing. Is as we emerge out of this, it's really important to have all the facts and all the data associated with potential travel. Booking with a travel professional just like Derek is pivotal. Derek is well versed, understands and knows where to go to make sure that you are protected from a health concern, but also from your travel investments. And travel is, like I said, not a necessity, it's a luxury, but that luxury is something we pay for. So trust with Derek, trust that he knows exactly where to put you, who to recommend, and to ensure that you're always taken care of. And thank you for doing what you do. We need more people like you. And like, I guess as the phrase says, the world deserves more of you, Derek.
Thank you very much.
No problem, my friends.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing. I will let you know that next Thursday, we will be talking with Oceania Cruise Line. And if mid-sized ship cruising is of interest to you, I encourage you to listen in and see about the itineraries that are involved with that program as well. So again, thank you for viewing this afternoon. And again, thank you to Sean and G Adventures, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.